The south of Central Park is home to some of the most exclusive homes in the entire world. This area is referred to as Billionaires Row, which is a street of ultra-luxury buildings around West 57th Street. The average price for an apartment here is $22 million, with some penthouses being worth up to $250 million. But the views are worth it, right? This neighborhood is home to the most prestigious landmarks in New York City, such as Carnegie Hall and the Plaza Hotel. Would you believe me if I told you that half of the available units here are actually empty? Well, it's true. But then why were these buildings built if nobody was going to acquire them? Let's dive in to find out. New York is considered an incredibly diverse and entertaining city, which combined with the American dream make it the perfect place for people who have great aspirations and goals. As a consequence, Manhattan, the richest borough in the city, has been gaining a lot of popularity these past few years. Billionaires Row's history starts with the completion of 157 in 2004, which was followed by the opening of 432 Park Avenue in 2016 and the development of 53 West 53rd Street, 111 West 57th Street, and Central Park Tower afterwards. All these buildings offer extreme luxury with the added benefit of having unique Central Park views, which of course come at a hefty price. Skyscrapers have slowly been getting taller and thinner for years, but Billionaires Row has given rise to a new form of skyscraper entirely: the super slender residential tower. In Manhattan, space comes at a premium, which means that if you want to build big, you must build up. To develop the small sites they had secured with buildings tall enough to offer Central Park views, developers on Billionaires Row had to first acquire the air rights for the properties around their lots. They could then combine those air rights to build their property taller and ensure that nearby buildings would not block their breathtaking views. It's sort of like piecing together a very expensive puzzle. New York's building code considers a building slender if it has a width-to-height ratio of 1:7. But the towers on Billionaires Row go far beyond that. Today, the thinnest of the bunch is 111 West 57th Street. The 85-story building is officially the world's thinnest skyscraper. It's just 18 meters wide, but rises to 435 meters high. That's a width-to-height ratio of 1:24. And of course, when you're 400 meters in the air, you have to think about the wind. Engineers had to use a few tricks to keep the building from swaying too much, such as installing double-floor cutouts every 12 floors to allow heavy winds to pass through the 432 Park Avenue building. This removes the formation of areas of low pressure on the backside of the building, making it more stable and less likely to sway with the wind. There are two main reasons for these buildings becoming more and more slender. The first one is a lack of space there is in Manhattan, and the second one is to increase the liquidity of these properties, with the aim of making them more attractive to investors. The higher the liquidity of an asset, the easier it is to sell. With fewer units in the building, the owner can control more of the variables that typically make a house a non-liquid asset. In Billionaires Row, the elevator opens directly to the apartment. There's no backyard that you have to maintain, no street-level windows to protect from vandals on the ground, no leaky roof that will require fixing. All of this increases the property's value as the owner is assured that if he doesn't visit for a long time, when he comes back, it will be in perfect state. This increases the demand for these luxurious apartments, making them easier to sell for exorbitant prices. Some of the most recognized celebrities who own properties in these buildings are Michael Dell, founder of Dell Technologies, Bill Ackman, CEO of Pershing Square Capital Management, or even Kenneth C. Griffin, a hedge fund manager who purchased 4 floors at 220 Central Park South for $238 million. With these prices, it is not surprising that half the available apartments in these buildings are empty. The truth is that a lot of the Billionaires Row's owners have actually never lived in these properties and consider them as investments. Some of these properties are actually second, third, or even fourth residences of the respective owners. I cannot try to imagine what the house they actually live in looks like. Ever heard of the term zombie urbanism? It's used to describe a place that has a lot of housing units that are owned but not lived in most of the time. It's not quite dead, but not fully alive. Sort of like what's happening now on Billionaires Row. But the phenomenon isn't unique to Manhattan. In Paris, second homes are on the rise, and in a handful of its districts, a quarter of the homes are sitting empty. Some of the most expensive neighborhoods in London are quiet at night, as many of the properties are second residences. In Melbourne, experts warned an entire district in a prime location could become a suburb of ghost towers due to unused property. So where does New York go from here? The city is in an affordable housing crisis, and it's not likely these empty luxury condos are going to be used to house people who really need a place to live. Other cities have introduced taxes on vacant apartments, but New York has not followed yet. Even though these buildings are half empty and have had many engineering and financial trouble, they do give New York's skyline a very unique feel. What has impressed you the most about Billionaires Row? Had you heard of it before? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching.